Talk when it's over. We'll talk when. Everybody ready?
I think so.
It's 5:30. That clock's off.
Let her rip.
Is
Take
that clock even going? The clock's off. I got 5:30.
That's the 5:30.
This one says 5:30.
Okay, we're gonna begin the regular city council meeting for Tuesday, September 9th, 5:30 PM. And go. If we can stand for invocation from Ms. Dallas Birch.
Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to just come together. We pray for a hedge of protection over our town and its people. God, we just ask that our motives align with yours. We want to bring you honor and glory. I pray for wisdom and I pray for discernment. And I pray this in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen.
The pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas pledge.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible.
Roll call, Councilmember Mapes,
Here.
Councilmember Schultz,
Present.
Councilmember Freeze,
Present.
Councilmember Bruning.
Present.
Got a quorum. And I'm going to read this here. I ask that each individual addressing city council do so in an orderly and respectful manner. Please attempt to address any issues, concerns, or suggestions in the public comment section of the meeting. Public comments outside of the section will be limited. All speakers shall approach the podium, provide your name and address for the record. The comments from the public during both agenda items for public hearings and agenda items for individual consideration will be limited to 3 minutes per person. Each person will be allowed to speak once and your time cannot be shared. I ask that everyone silence your phones for the duration of the meetings. The city council members will give their undivided attention to all speakers and presenters. I ask and those in attendance, please offer the same courtesy to the council during their deliberations. I ask that the council members please be acknowledged by meeting chair prior to speaking. Thank you. And we have one citizen comment, Ms. Dallas Birch. Yes, ma'am. State your name and your address.
Hello, I'm Dallas Birch. I live at 100 Bosque Street, Unit B in Glen Rose, Texas. I'm excited to share a vision for a community dog park that brings our community together. Dog parks provide a safe space for socialization, exercise, and community building while promoting physical and mental well-being. This initiative should encourage locals to experience Glen Rose from a new perspective, foster authentic community engagement, and potentially become a tourist attraction for pet owners. I would also like to propose the allocation of a secured dog park area within an existing park if a new park is not feasible. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I look forward to seeing Glen Rose continue to thrive.
Thank you. And now we'll open the public hearing for proposed tax rate at 5:34 PM.
Does anybody in the public audience want to speak on the tax rate?
No.
Your public hearing is closed.
Those are at 5:34. Do you want to do two, Veronica?
You want me to read it? Okay. Public hearing regarding a request to rezone the property located at 1113 Wren Street, acres 0.387, tract C7-11, abstract A136, Milam County School LD, tract C7-11 from B2, a general commercial district, to an R2 single and two family district.
Anybody want to speak on public comment? I mean, on public hearing?
I just have one. Where is it located? I mean, where is?
It's around the corner by, coming off Bernard Street, going around, the strip
The
mall.
Lane Plumbing
Um,
business.
Thank you very much.
That's what's
I
right
went by to
there.
see it today,
That's all
so.
I needed to know because I was trying to find it. Thank you.
Do you want to speak?
Yeah, I can speak on
This is not,
Oh,
this is
it doesn't.
public hearing, this isn't their time
Sorry, guys.
for your presentation.
Okay, so we'll close the public hearing at 5:36, and we'll need to go down to individual items for consideration, number 7. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding request to rezone the property located at 1113 Wren Street, acres 0.387, tract C711, abstract A136 Millam School LD, tract C711 from B2 General Commercial District to a R2 Single and 2 Family District.
Do you want to hear the presentation first, or do you want to hear P and Z's first?
We'll hear P and Z.
Pam Streeter, Chairman of PNC 205 Southwest Bernard Street. The commission heard on this subject, and we looked extensively at the zoning. It would appear that because all the way up Bernard Street, at a point in time, the zoning was changed from residential into business commercial. However, when you actually look at everything right around it and across the street, it's all residential. So we wouldn't be spot zoning. We have neighboring property that is an R. So we'd allow us to change this to R. And it is in keeping with the current use of the neighboring properties. So the recommendation from the commission was a unanimous yes to the rezone.
Thank you. David?
Okay, David Dickens, 1478 County Road 409, in Nemo. Yeah, so we're the ones working on the project there on Wren Street. So we're just, the goal, or I guess the hope, is to rezone it from a B2 to a R2, which would allow us to build single family detached housing versus attached housing. So instead of a quadplex, we build 3 individually detached single family homes. And so in order to do this, we're working with Teresa at Texas Surveying to replat that lot into 3 lots to fit a 25-foot by 80-foot alley load entry product there.
You're
And
going too far for the rezone.
okay, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, yeah, looking to rezone that particular property. We believe that residential would be a great use for that particular location. So,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions? George?
Nothing other than we had a lot of bad addresses on returns. We sent out, it's not your responsibility, I guess, but we sent out, 15 properties and got 13 returned.
I will have to look into that with, Jody.
I think they were corrected the cat.
I don't know. It says 2 letters, 15 total were sent representing 15 properties, 2 letters confirmed as received. So we got a notification back, 13 letters unconfirmed as received. 1 favorable response out of the 2 that had been
I will
confirmed.
say, if those people are using PO boxes, which many of them are, it takes a lot longer for certified letters. I did not get a certified letter until a month after the actual certified letter. So our postal service, if they're on a PO box, is more difficult.
Is there some rule that, I mean, a certain number cannot be returned until like we send out an additional mailer to make sure that everybody's been notified?
I don't think so.
So even if all of these were returned to us, that wouldn't be,
We made the effort to,
okay,
assuming we made the effort to notify to the address that we had on
on
file.
file.
And there is a sign on the
We made a
property.
good effort,
There
yes.
there is a sign on the property that states that they're requesting to be rezoned.
Yeah,
And there was a posting in the
and it's also posted in the
in the
newspaper,
newspaper.
and then it's been posted on the city website too.
Also, just an FYI, which I'm sure you're all aware of, if we go down to the postal service and read, we used to have mail pickup at like 7 a.m. and again at 4. You know, there is no evening mail pickup, so whatever we mail today doesn't get picked up till tomorrow morning, and it doesn't make its tracking out. So I'm not making excuse, I'm just stating the fact, because we've had to adjust our mailings and our returns on that also. So I just,
There was plenty of time because we had the mailings and the returns at the P and Z meeting, which was 10 days. It has to be mailed 10 days prior.
okay.
So,
Okay.
no, it's a fair statement, and we all need to remember that. So,
No questions.
want to call for a motion?
I mean, if they want to make, somebody wants to make a motion, they can.
I make a
No more
motion to
questions?
approve the rezoning from a B2 to an R2 for the use of 3. What do they
No,
call
you're
it?
not doing for
No,
use.
No,
You're
no,
only
no,
doing
that's right,
the
not for
rezone.
use, the rezoning only.
I'll second. All in favor? 4, all against?
It was 5, sorry.
I'm sorry, so. 5-0. Then now we'll move back into, you can sit down, David. We'll move back a second. The public hearing, item 3, at 5:43. Veronica, will you read that?
Public hearing regarding a request for a replat on the property located at 1113 Ren Street as submitted by Teresa McGee, Texas Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, acres 0.387, tract C7-11, abstract A136, Milam County School LD, tract C7-11.
This item came before the commission. We have looked at the plat. We had a lot of discussion about setbacks and what would be required. They're actually not the corner lot, but because there's nothing on the corner lot, they're being considered the corner lot. So that we would need a variance on the setback from the corner. If you're looking at it that they're the corner lot.
Oh, I see.
An unknown persons that we're still trying to find owns the corner, the actual corner lot.
Okay.
And it would be, if found, then it was discussed on what their stance would be of taking that land versus not needing it, because then they would be the second lot and they would just have a 7-foot setback instead of the 25.
Right.
We did speak with Public Works about water and sewer to ensure that the city could provide that without any difficulty. And we were assured that that wasn't going to be an issue. We looked at the entrance for the plats. There is a side entrance coming off Wren, to be very similar to the bungalows over off Holden Street. So there would be an entrance off Wren, kind of a back alley for garage access from the back of the property, which all of those questions and concerns, setbacks and sizing of the property was discussed in great detail. The commission voted for the plat, and there was an opposition, and that was me. And it has nothing to do with the residentialness of the property. It is that the size of the properties being recommended for build, the price point of the properties that would likely entail, and the fact that they were 2 stories when most of the property around them were 1 stories. I just felt that that wasn't the best use for the property, for that particular plat of land. Although I am in favor of housing there, it's just my opinion that that wasn't the right housing on that particular place of land. But the commission as a whole voted to move it forward to you for recommendation. I would recommend you guys now listen to Teresa for all the other details about the plats.
Thank you for the
George, when you wait till we get out of the public hearing?
She shouldn't have spoken in the public hearing.
We were in the public hearing,
Yeah.
sorry. Oops, my
We
bad.
closed the public hearing at 5:46.
Okay,
Ditto.
now open A. Ditto.
Would you read that again, Veronica, please?
Okay. Discussion, consideration, possible action regarding a request of a replat on the property located at 1113 Wren Street, as submitted by Teresa McGee, Texas Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, acres 0.387, track C7-11, abstract A136, Milam County School LD, track C7-11.
Hi, how are you guys this evening? My name is Teresa McGee, 104 South Walnut Street, Weatherford, Texas, 76086. I'm representing the owner on the replat for this area. We're requesting 3 lots total. We did request variances on the corner lot setbacks as well as the lot frontage. Frontage for R2, if rezoned, would actually be 60 feet, and we have it at 45, and 49 feet. As well as the square footage, which would be 6,000 square feet, and we're just a little bit shy of that. So we meet the other requirements for zoning in this area, but we do fall a little bit short on the road frontage as well as the square footage for the property. And I'm here to answer any questions that you guys may have.
So just for the sake of all of your knowledge, the plats are preliminary plats, and the variance requests have not been sent to city council yet. So right now, it's really just a plat, not about the setbacks, but
So is the design of the homes or the proposed design of the homes, is the front of the residence facing Bernard? Do I have that right? And then, of course, the back of it then would be facing, I forget what the street it is, but basically
Lakeside.
the stone house that's there. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
And what's the square footage of these homes that are proposed?
In a range between 1,800 to 2,000 square feet.
So I'm looking for this mysterious lot that's, or the strip. I don't see it on this survey call out, but maybe I'm not sure where I'm looking.
It will be this area right here that we call Wren Street. If you have a copy of this plat,
Yes.
we found it was either a no man's land or at one point dedicated to the city to widen Wren Street.
So So this one estimate says it's 55.
From the center line of Wren Street, it's 27.2 feet from that corner in the back that we show
Okay,
to that CIRS symbol that you see
yes.
on the southwest part of the lot 3, block 1 that's proposed.
So it's 27 foot by
It's
120 feet
25.
approximately?
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's what we said.
But
too.
you didn't uncover,
A new owner for it?
Yeah.
No, we did not. And the deed that we had was so old going back that it could have been a surveyor's error at that point in time.
that's a
And-
lot, 20 something feet.
You're telling me, we see it all the time. It varies foot by foot every year. But in this case, we did not discover that it currently belonged to anybody. We couldn't see where it was deeded out to anybody new. And actually, the previous surveyor had included that in this lot. And our surveyor would not co-sign on that previous legal description because it did not match the previous deeds.
So Cam, tell me again, so they're here to present the plats, but we don't, I mean, what were you saying before?
So
The
they're here to
variances.
present the plats.
Yeah.
What you will look at includes basically the footprint of the building they want,
Right,
and then the setbacks.
got it.
The setbacks don't meet our minimums.
Mhm.
So they're going to have to apply for a variance to meet the minimums.
Got it.
So this is kind of one of those situations where ideally, they would have been the variance and the plat at the same time. But the plat, as far as dividing the land into 3, could be approved contingent on the variance approvals for setbacks.
I see. Okay.
Yes, we actually had another plat that we were gonna propose today that was 4 separate lots under that B2 zoning, which is why he mentioned quadplexes earlier.
Right.
So we wanted to present this plat. This is the one that we're hoping for.
Okay.
But we do have a contingency if it is not rezoned.
Got it. And you had mentioned the price point on each of these dwellings. What is the price point?
Roughly about 400,000.
Okay.
Because, yeah, just in construction right now, it's hard to build anything for less than $200 a foot,
Gosh.
which is just crazy, but, yeah, that's kind of where it's at right now with the market.
Okay. Have y'all built here locally before?
Yes, ma'am, yeah, for the last 2 years, just out in the county though, nothing in the city.
Okay.
And then there's gonna be a kind of a driveway in front.
And back.
No, all driveway access will be on the rear off of Wren Street specifically.
And Orientis, again, that is the back Ren, that access is to the back.
Yes, there's not going to be any front driveway access from Bernard whatsoever.
And a 2-car garage?
Yes.
Yeah,
The 2 cars
This is
attached.
like the street, and that's the front, and this is the alley. That would be the alley.
Any more questions?
I don't.
Do I, Rick?
Yeah, yeah, it's been wonky. It didn't work. The cat didn't pull up.
Trying to get into Summerville County's CAD, look at that
Cat didn't pull up today.
mysterious property, but
I was just gonna ask, when was the last deed on that property filed and who was the owner of record?
Well, that would have been his company, but prior to that, it was the same deed carried over from the 1950s, the same legal description as it traded hands. And before that, that was early 1900s.
So then in the 1950s, who did you? Do a deed dive to see if you're good?
Get this.
We
Because
did
it's not
not
just
run
legal.
title on the property, which would have done a discovery on that to see when that discrepancy came about.
Yeah. Cause that's a chunk of,
It's a nice chunk of land, trust me.
chunk of land that you
This one,
can
they were gonna
build
do 4.
Do you have any
A
action?
narrow
Right.
house on.
Or the city could quit
Any
claim
action?
deed it and take it over and expand Ren Street at some point in time.
Second meeting going on.
Sorry, I was asking questions.
So you made the comment that if this didn't fly, you were talking about a fourplex?
Fourplex, and it would have been 4 lots. Yes, sir.
And is that still going back to 2-story?
Yes, yeah, it's supposed to be 2 story to accommodate, 18 to 2,000 square foot structure.
That's the one hard part is everything in that area is not 2-story.
The only thing I would say is if you look at Holden Street, it's the same way. Those are 2-story and the properties around them aren't 2-story.
Holden.
Over by the
to
junior high.
Junior high to the hospital.
Yeah.
Where the townhouses are.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm thinking that these are going to.
Very similar,
structure.
they'll be a little bit larger, but very similar layout, like lot wise, and that entry to the garage.
So it's garage, not just covered.
Correct, yeah, we'll have, actually, enclosed garage.
Okay.
Any more questions?
I have to tell you, I kind of like it. I like the idea of getting a little density. We struggle to get housing. I can't say that's necessarily affordable, but I've been out of the market a long time, so I don't know. I think we need housing. Again, I think we've talked about it a lot. We need housing at all different levels. If we could move something off of that Habitat meeting that we had 4 or 5 months ago, and then something like this, where you plop in some nice housing in a established area, in an established neighborhood.
You want to make a motion?
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I will. Nobody else had
Nobody wants to
another.
read all that.
If nobody had another, I will. I'll make a motion to approve the replat of located 1113 Wren Street, 0.387 acres from tract number C7-11 of the 136 abstract of Milam County School Land Survey, tract C7-11.
I'll second that.
All in favor? It's 5-0.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Variance. You're gonna now have.
Oh, yes.
Variance.
Now we'll go back into public hearings. Item 4, public hearing regarding recommendations for amending 14.02.005 definitions. Open at 5:58. Any comments? Okay, we'll close that public hearing. And move to individual items for consideration. Number 9, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding recommendations for amending 14.02.005 definitions. Pam, you're signed up to speak.
Well, you're in public hearing, aren't you?
No.
You closed it? Okay. Sorry, I was giving your other people instructions on their next step.
All right, first, I am gonna apologize that you've gotten some documentation, as of tonight. I had a massive computer failure, and after spending a week with Apple trying to revive, I had to start over. So, I will say that the computer lasted 12 years before she died, so I can't really complain too much, can I? So the first thing that you would have had in your packets was regarding an accessory building that did not actually pass. Commission tabled it, so we won't have you guys vote on that. We did add the definition of an artisan retail shop, and that is, was in your packet. The idea for this is that a number of conversations have come up about what are we really looking for in that downtown area, kind of some of the square and some of the side streets to the square. And in some cases, when locations have been tried as retail shops and they're just not getting the foot traffic, we've learned that's not the best place. We don't have the proper signage. We don't have enough draw for people to walk off the square another block to find some of these shops that are just slightly out of the way. But if we allowed what I would call destination shops, where it's a tradescraft being practiced with them demonstrating how to do it and selling their items, that's a different type of shop. That becomes something that people will walk to because it's a learning experience. So we actually just had the opportunity in the last week to have the Maker's Table open up in Jack Bridges' property next to China Walk. And that is by all means what we're describing as an artisan type shop, where they are building things, they're doing things, they're teaching workshops and classes. We just wanted to put a formal definition in so that we can draw from that type of client people and go, we are friendly to this. So that's really what that whole definition was about. Just kind of so that as we go out and people do economic development, to encourage artisan type establishments. They may sell things, they may demo things, they may do things, but it's more a craftsman type work. And I think it really will belong in some of these nooks and crannies that haven't necessarily thrived as a retail shop to this point.
So I have a question on that.
Yes.
So artisan retail shops, we have a definition, but I didn't find it in the schedule of uses.
You are correct. We have to go back and add that, but we have a bunch of things that have to be changed in the schedule of uses. So we wanted to establish that first, and then as we're continue to work on the overlay, the artisan shop will come into the special uses with the overlay. The next definition that you had was assisted living facility. And again, this had come up as a request through the building official's office. It was asked by a person if we would allow an assisted living home in a private residence. And after a lot of research, the commission came back and said, we would, but you have to have at least 4, which puts them under state regulations so that nobody has to feel awkward that they are not having any oversight or supervision at the state health level and at the licensing and bonding. So at the state of Texas, 4 and above in a private residence is allowed under state guidelines. If it's less than 4, then there's no oversight of any kind. So the commission felt that to get this to the state was appropriate.
So what happens if somebody leaves for whatever reason?
As long as
How
the
do we
facility is set up for 4 people plus the resident that's staying there, they fall under the state guideline.
Okay, so
If they
somebody
have a
still be checked.
vacancy, right, if they have a vacancy, it doesn't change what the state's doing.
Okay,
They're
right.
required to have
They
the
won't
bonding,
come in and
licensing,
say, "Oh, you have
inspections.
3."
Yeah, no,
Okay.
no, it's just that they have the setup to manage for those 4, whether it's 2 or 4, that requires them to be under state guidance. All right. The next item that came up was gun manufacturing. And this one does have a change. You have the original definition of gun manufacturing, but then you have a secondary, which is gunsmithing. And so it properly defines the difference. And it has been brought to our attention by multiple times that this has been an inquiry that we need to have allowances for.
And we have a pretty restrictive
Schedule
schedule.
of use on it. So gunsmithing, we are more flexible with than we are on gun manufacturing.
What's our schedule for gunsmithing?
We'll get to that.
Got me wondering now.
Our next definition that we had to add, that we were also adding into the notes on the schedule of uses, is an ice cream truck. It turns out that our mobile food vendor does not take into account ice cream trucks. So after much discussion, the commission said yes to ice cream trucks with some caveats. And these are the extra caveats that have been added to your document from your book. That you cannot stop within 200 feet of a food establishment unless the customer has waved you down. That if you are stopping, you cannot stop for more than 5 minutes. And that you will not be able to stop in a school zone from the hours of 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. We did say that if the truck is on private property, that's fine. So if the school invites a truck onto its property, it's allowed to come in and stop. But
Well, that's not private property.
because it's private property, well,
That's not private property.
in essence, it is, but yes, I understand what you mean. But the key here was individuals brought up the concern of what if a ice cream truck parks right in front of Shoe Fly Soda Shop? That's not really kosher. And because our mobile food ordinance doesn't allow the 200 feet, we agreed to bring that on to the ice cream truck. But at the same time, we want to allow a person who wants to flag down a truck to be allowed to stop within that 200 feet.
It'd be at 6 a.m. Because I think if I'm hearing an ice cream song going down my house at 6 a.m.,
We
I might
just,
have an issue.
we took the school, we took it that you couldn't be in the school zone stopping during hours that students were going to be maneuvering around the school zones. That's really why, so the truck can't operate that early.
So the only thing I would have is that a lot of the schools have after-school tutorials and they don't get out until, like junior high gets out at 4:40.
Okay.
From their after-school stuff, tutorials, and the buses are running and all of that, so.
So if you guys want to amend the hours during a motion, you are able to do that. And then we'll adjust the hours in the documents for posting Veronica later.
Does this also include the snow cone trucks?
Yes, it does.
Okay,
Yes, it does.
got it.
All right, let's see here. The other item is it has come to our attention that we did not actually actively state that a restaurant can have outdoor seating. So we are amending that definition.
Why?
Because somebody asked and somebody said, oh, no, you can't do that. Because we have in the schedule of uses that specifically said indoor. And so we were fixing. And that is the only definition changes that we have requested your review and approval on.
I like them, Pam. Thank you.
Any more questions?
So, Pam, is there I guess my question is why are we not getting the one definition through? Is there a reason why we just left that one out right now? I mean, I know you said it didn't pass.
On the accessory dwelling,
Yes.
it's not that it didn't pass, it was tabled altogether. There is much discussion about the legalities of I'm trying to come up with the right word, hang on a minute, of selective tenants. And so we either have to say that the accessory building can be open to all, or we have to say that it can be open to none. And so there was much debate. And so we have taken it back to the table to verify some more legal documentation on it.
Okay.
Because we either have, right now, we don't allow it. And it came up that in R1, which is a single family home, a selection of residents have built a second dwelling on their property that they're using as a guest house for family members. And we don't want to disrupt that situation, but we don't want that home to be used as a short-term rental or a long-term rental, because that violates what is the definition of R1. So we are working our way through legalese to find the right balance to get something helpful to our residents without violating R1. That is why.
There was quite a bit of interest during that meeting. Lots of feedback. Yes.
So that has been tabled, which is why you do not have it for discussion today.
You have another question there?
Oh.
No more questions? Any action?
Are you concerned about the timeframes?
Just that till 5 p.m., I think, because so many schools get out past 4 for tutorials and stuff. So if we bumped it to 5, I would even say 7 to 5. Not that anybody's going to be there before that, I don't think. But
Well, that's fine. 7 to 5. 7 is the actual start of food trucks in our food truck ordinance. They can't work before 6 anyways, so we can easily move it to 7. And then again, in your motion, if you just alter the time, we can adjust that for you.
all right, I'll make the motion. I recommend that we approve the amendments being made to 1402.005 definitions, with the exception of changing the times from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on our food trucks being in front of the schools.
I'll second that.
All in favor? 5, all against, 0, passes. Back to public hearings, number 5, public hearing regarding recommendations for amending Chapter 14, Appendix A, Schedules of Uses to include not limited to short-term rentals allowed in B3 district. 6:14. Any comments? Close the public hearing. 6:15. And we'll go to individual items. Number 10, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding the recommendations for amending Chapter 14, Appendix A, Schedule of Uses to include but not limited to short-term rentals allowed in the B3 district.
All right, so if you will start.
Can you state your name and address, please?
Pamela Streeter, 205 Southwest Bernard. I am here as their PNZ chair.
Thank you.
All right. If you will actually start, you'll go 1, 2, 3 on the 4th page of the schedule of uses. We made an alteration. Manufacturing guns used to be in the industrial zone as a specific use permit. We are recommending a change to just allow that in the industrial zone. Then the next line down was artisan guns, and we changed the wording from manufacturing artisan guns to artisan gunsmith. And we will allow that in B2 openly, and then with an SUP in B3. And an X, it should be an X under industrial.
Say that again as far as locations.
So artisan gunsmithing would be allowed in B1, B2. It would be allowed in B2, a special use permit in B3. When an overlay comes into play, we will address the overlay. But we're also changing the specific use permit in industrial to allowed.
So B1 was allowed or specific use?
B1 is allowed. We have had, sorry, is that B1, B2? I'm sorry, B2 is allowed. B1 it's not, B2 it is.
B1 is not allowed at all.
Correct. My columns were off. So it would be allowed in B2. It would be special use permit in B3. Skip the overlay line because it doesn't exist yet. And then it would be an X in industrial, allowed in industrial.
Do we need to differentiate between artisan gunsmithing and a gunsmith shop?
No, we can change that language. Gunsmith shop is fine.
Except the gunsmith shop has different acceptance and non-acceptance. That one shows accepted in B1 and it's totally blank in B2.
No, that's the manufacturing gun. Manufacturing different than a gunsmith. What are you looking?
I'm looking at gunsmith shop.
Gunsmith shop, the row.
Shows it has an X on B1, nothing in B2, specific use in B3, and an X in industrial.
Oh, there you go.
And but the artisan gunsmith,
You know what?
kind of reversed the B1, B2.
Yeah,
They should line up, right?
honestly, we only need one. It's a duplicate now. So an X in B2, an S in, it would be an S in B3, an X. So if we combine the goal between both of them and just have gunsmith shop.
So the current gunsmith shop that shows B1, we're taking it out of B1.
No, it's in B2.
I think it's in the B1 column.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, it's a B2 column.
Yeah, it's the B2 column.
Yeah, it's a B2 column.
So it would be allowed in B2, a special use permit in B3, and allowed in industrial. And we'll get rid of the line manufacturing, artisan, gunsmith.
Because nothing would preclude a gunsmith shop from working on an artisan gun, right?
Right, correct. That was probably just a brain fart on my part.
So the manufacturing artisan guns completely is gonna be removed.
Right,
Is that correct?
and we'll just use the word gunsmith shop above, the line above.
Okay.
Thank you. Ice cream truck, we're adding and allowing in all zones. We altered the line item, if you go to the next sheet where it says restaurant or cafe, it said inside dining only. We've now said inside and outside dining. Nothing else changed on that line.
Do you happen to know what the cost of a food truck registration is?
It's 300.
Since an ice cream truck will have to follow that definition.
Correct.
That's through the state.
No, well, they have to apply for a truck permit here.
Yeah, that's.
They have to meet the health standards
It's paid to us.
paid to the city. All right. If we keep moving on into the industrial work, we noticed that we had gun manufacturing again. So we were removing that line item. It was somehow made it onto the chart twice. And then we noticed that, and that should be an X. Well, because that line item's gone all together, it doesn't matter. Okay, never mind, I said anything. We noticed that granary or gin was just being plainly allowed. I make the recommendation that we actually do turn that into a specific use permit. There is a lot of dust and volatile material that can explode. And so if indeed somebody wants to put that in industrial, when we have a lot of other manufacturing in that area, we might just want to think about its neighbors. And so we were just throwing it out there. Again, the likelihood of us getting that in our town is small. But as we have learned, if we don't have a plan for it, it usually will bite us. If you move on down to residential, and it's not highlighted, actually go above residential, it's the bed and breakfast, a residential home. That doesn't change because that's a residential home. What we're looking at for that change in bed and breakfast in B3 is more of the commercial side. I gotta find it, hang on. And I think it is the one we have to add to the schedule under the commercial. Let me see where that is. You have hotel, motel, or inn. We would be adding an Airbnb, a short-term rental, to the line item right above ice cream truck. And we would be making that a specific use permit in B3.
Where are you at again?
I'm sorry, I had skipped forward. It's right above the ice cream truck line.
So back above residential
Right.
section. Okay. Let me find that.
The condition that we placed on this in B3 is that it has to be on the second floor. Or no, that was it, just the second floor.
Okay, so hotel, motel, or inn, that's what you're talking about.
We will add
Okay.
short-term rental to that line.
Okay,
And on the B3, we will add that the condition is to be on the second floor. On the square, we do not want a first floor short-term rental. We want retail, restaurant, foot traffic drawing things. But allowing one on the second floor above those items seems appropriate.
there is an Airbnb or a short-term rental, like right across the street from your property.
Yes.
And how would this affect that?
So that's a very complicated one. It technically wouldn't affect that
Okay,
in that property actually did not officially receive a variance from the city, but received permission to move ahead per Stan, the city attorney.
and when was that?
2 years ago.
2 years
2.5.
ago? So what had happened with that property is they started work, they pulled permits, short-term rentals were allowed. Changes were made. During the time that they were doing the work, they allowed their permits to lapse. And so between when they had originally pulled the permit to the next time they tried to pull the permit, short-term rentals were not allowed. So there was a lot of debate on should this, by all means, the city had every right to say no. But Stan made the suggestion to ease tension, just let it
So
go.
that stays the same unless it was to
So-
change ownership.
Technically, it's a commercial building, although there is no variance or SUP on it. It's verbalized SUP.
Okay.
So by our SUP regulations, if this were to change hands and be used as a short-term rental again, we allow that with SUPs.
Okay, because I think it just sold.
Correct. And I've had a long talk with her and explained everything and said, yes, you don't actually have an SUP on your property, but you were granted one verbally. So we are going to treat it like it's an SUP per a conversation Joe and I had.
I see.
But an SUP is only good for the owner, then it's.
They have to, so
They have to
in,
reapply.
they don't reapply. They have to do a property ownership change. Because remember, we changed SUPs that in residential zones, they don't renew. They don't move with the sale of a property.
Right.
But in commercial, we allowed it to stay with the property, not the owner, as long as the
Right.
property was being used as is.
Okay, got it.
So she gets to keep it on a verbal agreement.
We kind of split the baby.
Do we need to do anything formally?
Yes, we really do. And
Yeah.
with the new owner, we will make sure that happens.
Okay. So are there any other short-term rentals that are on the bottom floor around the square other than
You got the
that one?
St. Helens Cottage.
Okay, but that one's basically grandfathered in?
No, that was approved with an SUP.
Okay, okay. And it doesn't face the nature park road?
Right. It
Right.
doesn't face the square.
Right, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So that's that. Now going on to residential, you'll see that we added the assisted living. And we said it was a specific use permit in all residential zones.
All residential?
All residential. And those are the only recommended changes we were making. Again, I apologize, you didn't have all the correct information in front of you. But thank you for your patience and letting me give it to you.
A question that has nothing to do with any of those. Group home, community home. There's an SUP, but it's in red. Is there?
No, probably just a carryover,
One.
Perry, just the
Okay, I
carryover.
don't know if
for-
it was something that was
Yeah,
changed.
no, just a carryover from when we color code the sheets at times so that we understand what we're doing. Because it's a difficult thing.
Discussion, questions?
I guess I go back to the thought about the assisted living in a residential area. You think about how large a house would need to be to have a minimum of 5 bedrooms. 'Cause you need 4 residents plus someone there.
Put 2 people in a bedroom, 2 singles.
So I will tell you that in past experiences that I have had with some of these homes related to my grandparents, they were small bedrooms. They had, 5 bedrooms, but it was still a, 2,500 square foot house, which is not abnormal in our community. And so it's not, an ideal large bedroom with, living with, it's a bed. They get a bed, they get a chair, they get a dresser. Usually it's a hospital bed. But it is allowing somebody who doesn't feel comfortable in a larger assisted living center, which we don't have here in Glen Rose, to be able to have family members being cared for by a licensed professional. If we go to a smaller size, then we lose that licensing.
I was thinking about to the larger size, maybe make it 5. or more,
Okay.
So that the threshold is a little bit higher, you get a little larger structure,
Okay.
and the cost of entry into the business is a little bit higher. So I couldn't convert one of my rent houses to a assisted living type
Okay.
facility.
I understand your thinking, and we will go with the flow of whatever council
I've
decides.
just been kind of thinking through that, and I guess I don't want to be harsh, but, do we want,
So we have never allowed this before.
right?
So this came up.
It's never come up, right?
It came up on a request, but they wanted 3. And we felt strongly, along with most of the audience, 2 meetings ago, that having an unlicensed facility was not something anybody wanted in this town. So we went to the minimum that required the license. But we can again also say it's still not allowed.
Could there be a square footage requirement?
It's by the state,
That's
it's just a
probably
number of
ambitious.
bedrooms.
Well, I think it would follow the state's numbers or probably be best, I guess. Well, that's the right term I want to use, but
Well, you
If
can
we decide to
certainly go
allow it.
up in number, because it's just gonna require the state. It has to just meet the state minimum. You can go higher than that.
But
That's-
who monitors that? If we say 5, who's monitoring that there's 5 people in there?
Well, it's not 5 people, it's that there would be 6 bedrooms.
Oh, just the number of bedrooms.
It would just be the
Okay.
number of bedrooms. When they apply for their special use permit, we would have to have a floor plan to show that they had the bedrooms for a private person to work and live there or work there and stay there. Because in many cases, it may be a private home, but they have 3 or 4 people on shift and they have a bedroom for them to use. And then the five bedrooms for the individuals. And it has to
Can they
be,
turn like a dining room into a bedroom? Does it have to like have a closet or,
definition of a bedroom is with a closet.
a lot of times those places do turn.
They do. And that,
Dining rooms.
all of this is under a specific use permit. So it's always going to be, each and every time it comes forward to you, the council will have the say of this is appropriate or not appropriate.
But that threshold for the specific use permit was changed by the legislature. No longer can you have, if you have more than 20% opposed, I think they passed the law that you can't, like red line, that was their words, that you had to have a supermajority.
Correct.
To be
That's
able
always been
to-
the case.
But I think they've changed the law.
I will have to check
I don't
that.
think that is allowed anymore.
The
I don't think we can-
supermajority?
Correct, the supermajority.
So
Now
if
it's
twenty
just a-
percent's opposed, it's just dead.
No, it's a simple majority, regardless of
Oh.
who generates public concern and gets letters back.
The
It's
majority
still a
of
majority, it's still a majority,
and the council can't override that.
correct. Can't require a supermajority. You may get 100% opposed, well, that's a bad example. You may get 25% opposed, but the threshold is still just a majority of the council, not a supermajority. I think the legislature, when they were kind of fooling around with accessory dwelling units and what they called redlining, this kind of ability to require a supermajority to do something or not do something.
Well, I will certainly make sure that we know what that rule is moving forward.
Yeah, it's gonna catch us.
Well, is it required to have each person have an independent bedroom?
Yes.
Because I thought they could share a bedroom. I've been in facilities.
From what
that had
from what I
two
have
single
read,
beds.
it is that they have to have 4 bedrooms. So this is a private resident, not like a nursing home.
Right, right.
So the
Understood.
laws are different. But it's, to my understanding, it is not necessarily the number of people, but it is the number of bedrooms that they're capable of doing. And in most cases, I have never seen one that had multiple people in one room unless they were married in a private home.
Dallas?
Could you just verify, is this gonna be state regulated?
Yes.
Okay, because sometimes what you're talking about, there can be a negative connotation and sometimes they don't always follow state regulation. And I just want to make sure that the residents who are already in a vulnerable position are being taken care
That
of.
is actually why when the request came to us for 3 and we learned the state regulation was 4, we moved to 4 and said we
You
won't.
already voted.
No.
That's a main concern. I
Yeah.
work in this industry, so I want to
Yeah.
make sure that our vulnerable population is taken care of in addition to the family.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've done this, but have you already discussed with like TGR? That's a local company. They own multiple facilities. Is there already a facility that maybe we have or maybe we can partner with to try to open up an assisted living? I know that's needed,
So this is not a commercial property. It's a private residence.
right. but
that
why
what
is
they
it
provide-
off to corporate though?
Right, but this is a person who came and said, I would like to be able to place individuals in my home for care. It's limited medical care, it's monitoring
Okay,
of pill
we're doing
taking.
Hospice, we have hospice, we have.
This has nothing to do with hospice, this has nothing to,
I'm
yeah,
just asking a
so,
question.
no, I don't know what the individuals have worked with. Our initial answer was we don't allow that at all.
Understand.
So we're simply stating, is this something that we would consider? And if we do consider it, then anybody who wants to actually do it will have to come before P and Z and the council with further details of their business plan. and more details on the property and what it's going to take and whether or not we will let them do it. So we're just at the prelim, is the city going to allow anything like this or nothing like this?
I would definitely recommend like talking to Brian Thomas.
Okay, we know TGR well.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So under this definition of assisted living also, does that allow for like handicapped?
Yes.
So it could
It
be.
is not just elderly. It could be a impaired individual, youth, adult, etc.
But it does not allow for juveniles that are in trouble or something like that.
No, in order for them to take the person in, it would have to follow the state guidelines of who they are allowed to facilitate care for. So it wouldn't be a youth home no, that's my place.
Bless your heart.
No, I take the youth in. No, this would be one that they would have to have paperwork. They have to fill it in for the state. They have to do monthly logs and reports. But it could include people of mental or physical disabilities that are not necessarily considered elderly.
Any more questions? Action?
So I'm going to recommend that we motion the other stuff collectively and then take this particular one off. And if there needs to be a different action for that, or if there's any of these definitions that you want to treat differently than the majority of definition or schedule changes. If there's any of these schedule changes, let's take that out of the motion and let the rest go through. And then anyone that we're hesitant on or want to change, we can handle in a separate motion. So the definitions are done. This is the schedule of use changes.
I'll make a motion to approve the recommended changes to Chapter 14, Appendix A, Schedule of Uses. However, with the removal at this time of the residential assisted living component.
A second it.
Second by Mapes, all in favor? All against? 5-0 passes.
Now we can address the assisted living.
Can I ask Dallas a question? So Dallas, you have experience in this area. So have you, what is your feeling on how the state regulates this? Do they do a good job, terrible job? They only come when somebody reports something? I mean, do you know anything about the state part of this?
Yeah. So my role with a local nursing home, I do admissions and marketing, so it's kind of the business side. I know an overview, but I can give you contacts that know in detail. My experience and from what I've heard, it's not as regulated as a corporate-owned facility. And I know people have their qualms with corporation, but they're in place to make sure that a vulnerable population is taken care of. And Glenrose, we are well known for decades for taking care of our older population, not only at Glenrose Nursing and Rehab, but also Cherokee. So I just want to make sure that our reputation is maintained, but more importantly, I just want to make sure those people are taken care of. So I just ask, just as a humble citizen, like just please due diligence and really do your homework on a private home versus a corporate home.
Thank you.
And you have some experience with that too?
We'll have a private discussion, in the sense that it's not on the agenda for specifics, but as a nurse, I can give you exact data, and I have no problem with you and having that discussion, because it's not an agenda item.
Thank you, Ann.
I'd like to recommend that you guys not approve this and that we go back and you direct P and Z to go back and do more research?
Or we've already
We've already approved when we pulled that
No, you
out.
approved the rest,
Yeah.
but you took that one out.
Yes.
So now that one either needs a motion to move forward or
That's right. But you already approved the definition.
I motion that the assisted living facility definition return to P and Z for additional research.
Second.
All in favor? All against? 0.
all right.
Thank y'all.
Thank you for your work.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks, man.
We'll move back to public hearings, public hearing regarding, 2025, 2026 trash rates for the city of Glen Rose at 6:45 PM. Any comments? Close the public hearing at 6:45 PM. And we'll move to individual items. Item 11, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding increase in trash rates for the city of Glen Rose.
I didn't need to
Okay.
unless there's any questions.
Just want to make sure. We do have a representative here from Frontier if you have any questions on that. Pass-through rate, pretty much, so need to pass it through or action you all want to take on that.
So it's a 5% increase?
Yeah, 4.95.
The only question I had, and Jim kind of answered it, but it was the current hand load. There's a rate for a current hand load.
Hand load?
Is that like just the trash bag or a 55-gallon drum that somebody's got to toss in?
Is that on the?
Because that's different than the poly.
Is that on the fee schedule?
Yes, it's on the,
I'll have to look it up. I have it on my phone here. I don't know off the top of my head what hand load.
residential current hand load. Currently, the residential rate for a single is $9.87, and for anything additional, it's $7.71. But the poly is $12.80 and $9.04. Now, the polys are normal plastic trash cans, correct?
So, yeah, the residential rate for a poly is $9.87. It's going to $10.36.
Well, that's a hand load. The poly's different.
Where do you see poly at?
Yeah, I don't see poly.
I don't see poly.
I see hand.
On this one,
No,
does that help? Three.
it's after 4 cart. It's on our page 78.
I'm looking at the fee sheets that they gave me that was sent to the city.
So
So maybe there's no change in the residential poly?
There's a 5% increase on the
Yeah.
residential.
4.95.
I guess that was just a quick definition of the difference, that's all. I was-
Yeah, I don't.
What does that make commercial?
I've never heard of a hand load.
Could that be an extra charge
Maybe.
for physically going? Because we
That
do
isn't-
have some of those.
I've seen them do that. On occasion, they have to,
Maybe like a bulk pickup.
well, no, they move the can to the rear of the truck and they have, it's not automated.
Yeah.
They also
So
pick
they'll
up,
retrieve the can, bring it to the back of the truck.
Like a handicap, maybe?
Yeah, for like an indigent handicap.
Yeah, we have handicap stops that they have a sticker on. And it says Frontier Waste, and the driver brings it down to the street from the garage, dumps it, and then takes it back up to the
And I've
garage.
even seen like, I guess maybe when the truck's down for maintenance,
Yeah,
they bring an older model and
Yeah.
it only loads from the rear,
Some
so
folks
it's not from the
77
side.
bar.
yeah, Yeah, we wouldn't charge different for that though. It would just be the regular rate.
Sorry.
The sheet I have, it just shows residential, it says hand load on here. I see where you see that, but I don't see anything about it.
That's the new hand.
Polycarbonate.
We don't even have that on our,
That's all it says.
yeah, this was.
That's
directly
just, I
from
think
them.
that's just a typo. That's what you get. The curve is the hand load.
So
All right, it's the same thing.
Thank you. Clarification.
have we looked at the analysis where we kind of smoothed out the previous cost increases when we actually started this with Frontier?
I have not looked at that. I know we didn't increase previous year.
Right.
So I know we increased last year, so, but no, and I can do that, bring this back.
Because we kind of did the math to back
Thank you,
into
guys.
a smoother increase for everyone at different commercial levels. I
Definitely.
mean, ultimately, if we're gonna approve a 5%, those rates change by 5%.
Yes, yes.
It's just likely not gonna line up with our ordinance if it's different.
4.95 is already in the contract.
Mhm.
It's already the contracted rate, so it's
Yes.
already.
Right.
So, just for y'all's benefit, when we went with Frontier, we looked closely at these rates that were coming for commercial rates versus residential rates. And we looked at the total number of counts in both categories and then what our anticipated expenses were going to be. And then we worked back and we actually kind of cost shared some of those costs amongst other classes of customers. So like people who had a 4 didn't get as big of an increase as someone who had a 2. We tried to smooth it out a little bit, and we did that with the first year of this current contract, and then we followed it the second year, and then we did not go up when we got another cost increase last year. We didn't go up. We absorbed that off of our franchise fee, and then so now we're at 4.95 for this year on a CPI increase. So if we did a 4.95, it would change those rates, should be in the range so that we're not losing money by billing trash. Does that make sense? It's what we did 3 years ago or 3.5, when did we start?
What was the year before I got elected?
Before last,
2023?
2023, yeah.
A lot longer than that.
Yeah. Like 2022. It was prior to me.
That was when Marco was here.
Yeah.
I make a motion to pass along a 4.95% price increase at all consumer and residential and commercial levels.
I'll second that.
Second by Councilmember Schultz, all in favor? All against? 5-0 passes. Now discussion, item 12, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding additions of no parking zone on both sides of Stadium Drive and Mary Lynn Drive to Allen Drive.
Jim, do you have maybe a map that we can put up to understand this? I was looking at my picture and I was having a hard time following it.
I don't because I guess the internet's
Get
down,
onto the shared
but
drive.
I'll try to do my best to explain
I
it.
was trying.
The internet's down?
It just won't let me access
So, as y'all know, I'm sure y'all been around the school campuses now that school started. So, from Mary Lynn Drive to the intersection of Allen Drive and Stadium, along Stadium Drive there. So, school is letting out, and I guess parent pickup, so there's an enormous amount of cars in that area around that time of the day. And so they line up in the street in multiple areas of kind of like a turn lane. And so what's happening is anybody that parks on the curb impedes the flow of that turn lane. And so the cars stack up behind the parked car. Then we have multiple lanes of traffic waiting to turn, and it just jams everything up. And so looking at that with different officials at the school, we're trying to eliminate that. So we were proposing to make a no parking zone through
That's still what, you're gonna have some mad parents. I'm gonna send them your direction.
No, I mean, I'm talking about
Parking.
parking and leaving.
Oh,
The
okay,
car.
abandoning your vehicle.
Parking zone.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So what about the houses there on Stadium Drive?
Well, they are the ones
They're the problem.
parking there because the complaint
Do you
is,
ever drive through that?
No, sir. I avoided doing
Oh,
the
that's
play.
smart.
It's, I'll drive 2 miles out of the way.
Yeah.
Miss going home that way.
so I think the issue is, let's see here.
Yeah.
Because there's our 3 residences.
Yeah, so you can see here, they line up, there's an existing turn lane in the center, but everybody's waiting to turn in here. And then there's another turn lane that comes this way and turn in here as well. So if a resident parks on the street, you can't get by. And so I think the people that park out here are actually the residents, because what's happening is traffic stacks up and then they're blocked in for an hour. And so my proposal was to make this a no parking zone and then just put signs asking people to not block cars in their driveway.
What about on Mary Lynn towards George's house?
Yeah.
Let's make that a whole no parking zone. So the quadplex, I didn't drive by, I forgot to. How many parking spaces are there?
They actually have a lot of parking spaces there and they don't, I see them parked on this side in the shade occasionally, but it's not been a problem during those hours. It's really just 1 or 2 people that occasionally do that.
Can we not just make it no parking during like pickup zones? Pickup times?
Yeah, that's what the proposal was.
7 to 4, right?
During,
That's what
well,
it said.
it's actually during school hours. Because even when, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving parties, whatever,
It's a free for all.
they line both sides of the street, then they have parent pickup, early release, and just. That's
Good bypass.
What about if it was residential parking only? So the people that actually live there can park on the street, nobody else, during those hours, during those set hours.
Yeah, they're the ones
They're
that
the
deal
problem.
with
Yeah, they're
Parking there.
That's the problem.
So they're pulling their cars out of their driveway to be ready to go in case so they won't get blocked in, maybe?
Correct.
That's what we think's happening?
That's what one of the guys told the officer, that he parks out there because when he wants out, he doesn't want to have to wait. But I can't imagine people don't let him out.
Sure, I don't know. I used to live next to the junior house.
Well, it kind of gets gridlocked, like if someone's not thinking and they pull in there, it's bumper to bumper, and then they get there an hour before school lets out. And so some of them, I don't know about, by the time it backs up that far, I'm not sure how early it still is, but he has said that, man, if they get behind my car can't get out, and they can't move forward or backward because they got each other blocked in.
Goodness.
Well, what about, and this is just another option, thinking outside the box, can we paint some white lines striping across the street like they do in front of fire stations or whatever and say, do not block?
No standing traffic or something.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Then
that,
we can't
that was
block
kind of the
kids.
idea, was to put signs out there,
Stripings, well, if you do some stripings across the street,
just saying, do not block driveway access.
and stencil it in, do not block. Just trying to think outside the box. I mean, I don't know. My fear is that, we can put whatever signage we want up there. You're still gonna have people that are gonna not think and block it in.
So according to that map, or what you're looking at, is all the people that are going down Maryland, and then they're turning right onto
Stadium.
Stadium, and then they're turning left in that front one.
A lot of them.
But is it blocking
A
the
lot of,
last two houses?
but what happens is you also have, depending on which grade, like not everybody's going in here, some of them go in here. And so it backs up all the way down, and then they're turning in here. And so if someone parks there, you got this turn lane full of cars, and then they turn on here and they kind of line up against the curb so the traffic can still fit between those two turn lanes. And everybody has a pretty good understanding of what needs to happen, but if one person parks up there, it jams up everyone.
Yeah, this is the whole thing now.
In conversations with the school, what are they say, or what would they like?
They're the ones that are suggesting this.
I thought it was the residents
No,
themselves.
this is the
No,
school.
they would like to see people not be able to park out there during school hours so that it doesn't impede the flow of traffic. The homeowners or property owners or tenants are like, you can't make me not park there.
You talk to them, or that's just what the schools?
The sheriff's office. It's been an ongoing problem for 2 or 3 years now. There's also a lane of traffic that backs up way down this direction. They're all the way around this curve to go here. They're in this turn lane to go there. There's a lane here.
They're coming down Stadium to go back that
Stadium
way
going
by
this
the
direction.
So like at the junior high, we have direction, like pick up and drop off directional maps. And I know they have that at the intermediate as well.
The intermediates changed so much because they have 3. And
Right.
the only one that comes in the front is 3rd grade.
And
So it's been way better for them.
So, I mean, I would think it's very difficult to tell the residents you can't park outside of your home on the street. I mean, has the school instituted any type of driving instructions or directions to make it less favorable for them to come down Mary Lane and hang a right with the intention of going into the 2nd grade parking lot, the teacher's parking lot? Because it seems like that's the issue. It's not the people in the turn lane. Am I correct? Or am I not understanding
No,
this?
the issue is really,
It's those that are headed to the 2nd grade parking lot
well,
or to the junior high if they're.
yeah, because it backs up in every direction. I made the mistake of pulling into the new parking lot to try to kind of observe what's going on. And I was stuck. I had to go
Hour and a half.
jump the curb, go through
Do we
here,
have a
and get
drone?
out. It's a nightmare. Nobody rides a bus anymore.
No, that's right.
Nobody's walking on the sidewalk.
It is
My-
crazy when
my
people
17-year-old
show up
senior
an hour
daughter.
early.
Get them walking on that sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, walk on that
We
sidewalk.
may have to drive on them.
Goodness. Oh, man, I'm not gonna fall on the sword on this, so I'm gonna defer to y'all's expertise. You can talk about it on going on Glen Rose.
So if I got it right, the school's asking for this, but the residents that live there want to be able to park on the street should they want to, should they decide they have a need to. Is that what I'm interpreting correctly?
Yeah, there's not a lack of parking off-street. There's a problem with them getting blocked into their driveway, and so they park out on the street so they don't get blocked in.
How many instances are we really talking about that have occurred where someone was blocked in their driveway or a car was parked on the street that impeded the flow of traffic for parent pickup?
I have no idea how many times someone has been blocked in and can't get out. I know within the first week of school, a car got parked out there so we wouldn't get blocked in. And the resource officers are having to go over there because it really gridlocks. Traffic cannot move.
You got now they're stacking up.
And so that pulls them over there to try to deal with it. And then, it just turns into kind of verbal. And he's basically pleading with people, hey, can you please just move the car?
If we made it a no parking zone, would the county SROs even be able to enforce that?
No, that'd have to be our Chief Martin.
I mean, they probably could. But I mean, typically, if an officer says, hey, you're parked in a no parking zone.
Hey, I'm making a statement.
Why can't you just do it like from 2 to 4? Yeah. Just during the pickup time, 2 to 4.
Well, it'd be in the morning also. And then halfway through the day on an early release or a holiday.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
You can go. I don't know about that.
Have we spoken to the tenants there, the owners?
The officers have, I have not personally.
I don't know this thing is right
I
yet.
don't know, man.
I don't think this thing is right just yet.
Oh, gosh.
I'd feel more comfortable if we tabled it until we had a conversation with the affected property residents. I don't have an issue with splitting the time zone like was being suggested, whatever, 7 a.m. to 9 and 2 to 4 or something like that, but that's not really gonna solve the problem of the cars getting blocked in and then wanting to park on the street to prevent them from being blocked in. So I think we need to have some type of conversations with the property owners that it's affected on Stadium.
I know the officers have, and those conversations didn't go well. And they're not gonna listen to them, they're definitely not gonna listen to the city. The other concern is emergency vehicles anytime traffic is stacked up around the school.
That's what I was wondering, if there was alternative.
You have to call
We need
them
a
by
wider
road.
street.
Yeah, we need
That's
a,
what we need, for wider streets.
because that's what I was thinking of, the residents, and if they needed, medical emergencies.
Which is,
you're liable.
that apartment complex is a lot of elderly
Yeah.
people. And you're right, it is. Now, it doesn't, there's not that same problem in front of intermediate there because there's no housing in front of that road.
Mhm.
And Stadium coming from the high school, it's more take your life in your hands because the high school drivers, there is the parent drivers. So,
They all have their little signs that say don't block driveway.
yeah,
And people still do it, I'm sure. I don't know, it's a tough one.
It's just mainly one person, isn't it, Jim?
Yeah.
That's my understanding. It's one person who, and is it I didn't get the impression it's every day.
No, I think it depends on their schedule when they're coming and going from their residence. The times I've been by there haven't been any cars there.
If they would back up in their driveway, then it would be a very simple out. You know, backing out is hard.
I wouldn't be opposed to putting up signs that just say, do not block driveway. I wouldn't have anything opposed to a street signs that say that. I just don't feel
Well,
comfortable.
we could definitely start there.
That might be a good first step. Kind of put people on notice to not block driveways.
Yeah.
Can it look official?
Yeah.
Not
Because then
just
we're
like
reaching,
the,
we're on the side of.
like the one that's down the street that just has a.
Veronica,
Yeah.
I know this item has basically a no parking zone. Can we
Can amend it.
amend it to, if you need a motion, I'd love to make a motion to place.
We have a city ordinance right now, it's don't block the driveway. Already in place.
So, okay, so
Maybe they
so
need
then
to
all
see
we
it.
need to do is put up the signage just to reinforce the
To
ordinance.
remind people.
Is that correct? So I don't even, that doesn't even need to be something we need to vote on then.
This is mainly on their, my part of it, pull from their driveway, get out, go to a restaurant or something. Block the driveway. So, yeah.
Thank you. We can start there?
Mhm.
Start there, will that work?
Yep. We will start there.
No action on item number 12. Move to item 13, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding addition of no parking zone, fire lane, Ruth Parker Lane near GRISD Junior High campus.
Okay, so same song, next verse. Ruth Parker Lane, I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with that. There's an existing parking lot, I guess when they have maybe probably tournaments and whatnot.
Anything.
This parking lot will be full, this one will be full. And then people begin to park along pretty narrow street. I think it's like 16 feet wide or something. And they park along both sides of it to where I think there's 3 homes down here at the end. It's impassable. You can't get in or out. So the proposal on this was a fire lane so the emergency vehicles can get in and out.
And looking at the map, that I can see it's a very narrow street. How wide is that, you know?
I want to say it's 16 feet.
Don't even look that big on this.
I always use it to get out of that parking lot. And then it's blocked, that, because that's usually the last place people park, and I park there, use it to get out, and then it's blocked. Any questions? Oh,
I make a motion to create a fire lane on Ruth Parker Lane from College Avenue to the last driveway on the south end of Ruth Parker Lane.
second. All in favor? 5, all against? Passes 5-0. Item 14, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding resolution number 2025-R15, changing the date of the November 2025 regular city council meeting.
Our November city council meeting falls on Veterans Day and then city hall is closed, so I propose a resolution to change it to that Monday, the 10th.
Move adoption of resolution 2025R-15.
A second. All in favor? 5-0 passes. Item 15, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding resolution number 2025R12 to amend the current personnel policies.
Bringing this back to the council from the last meeting when we talked about it. I made the changes, but the harassment policy, that was the big one that was in question. I spoke with the lawyer who I worked with previously on this. And it pretty much came down to it's your decision to what language you want to put into the policy.
I'm gonna stand on, I think we need to include as it was written. I went home and asked my HR husband why pregnancy was in there. And he said, the first thing out of his mouth was, you would be surprised. But one reason is because it's making women feel guilty for not coming back to work and whatever timeline the boss thinks they need to come back. And the big one, though, is the right to pump. So that's why that's in there, is because that's become a problem, apparently. And then I think the other things that we were saying are just kind of the hot items right now, which is gender identity is a form of sexual harassment. What were some of the other ones that were in there? So, I mean,
Yes. Now, the lawyer said, this is Lynn Law, she said that the EEOC may change this language with the new administration, but that hasn't come about yet. So it's really, she said, it's really up to the 5 of you to make the decision on what you would like in personnel policy, or is that section?
I just think when people think sexual harassment, they think about, for the most part, men harassing women for sexual reasons. I don't think that people as often think about making fun of, like I said, gender identity, name identity, and that is just bringing it to consciousness. So that's just my opinion on that.
So he said, he recommended.
He recommended leaving it alone because it's better to have more that you can point to and say, you are violating this, than it is to say, well, that is sexual harassment because you're pressuring this woman or whatever the case may be.
Right.
Or you're making fun of Philip who wants to be.
Philomena.
Yeah. So that was his recommendation, just to leave it. And the lawyers put things in there because of things that have happened before. That was his point. So, okay.
I'm just going to state unequivocally, there are 2 genders, male and female. This stuff about including sexual harassment based on gender identity.
But that's not what the law says.
It is too. It is what the law says because as she said, the EEOC has changed that rule. New Trump administration, we may get a different administration in 4 years and it may be different. But
I just feel like we need to protect all of our employees, whether they are male, female, and this verbiage does that.
I would just say that all types of sexual harassment are prohibited, period. And that clearly and unequivocally states that all types of sexual harassment are prohibited.
Would you feel comfortable with
No,
you it as it?
no. So, but I'm just one vote, so if that's what y'all vote on, then, but I will, I mean, I think the rest of the policy's fine, but I feel like that in today's world, we have got to protect everybody. And saying, I don't think everyone thinks, the first thing everybody did when they said pregnancy, you were all of us, including me, said, well, why would we have that? That brought it to consciousness. And I just want to make sure we're protecting everybody that is employed with our city. And most of the time, I'm a less is more kind of person, but I just want to make sure that we're protecting them. So I see what you're saying. I mean, I totally agree with your statement, but I just want to make sure that we're protecting everyone.
I think we should include the lactation break. I mean, if we want to, you can go through them independently and say, meal breaks, those are great. Rest breaks, those are great. I have no problem with the policy other than when it leans towards what has been characterized as a woke ideology. I think that's the opposite direction we should be going. And that's what I say.
Did she mention when the proposed, like the EOC might be changing?
They
She didn't.
cannot make quorum right now, so don't
We're
know.
all late.
Yeah.
They're on leave. They're on leave. They actually come back this month.
Not sure.
When's the next meeting?
No, I don't know, but, I mean, like she was very upfront about, this could change, the federal regulations, all that can change with every administration, so pretty much she landed on whatever all of you feel comfortable putting into policy.
Would you feel more comfortable if it said something like, all sexual harassment to include pregnancy are prohibited?
Well,
If
that would make it better, but I don't think it's just about pregnancy. I think it's gender identity. I think there was a list of things. There was name of.
Well, currently says sexual orientation, transgender status, and gender identity, and I don't think those are the direction we want to go.
But if we have an employee that is that in our handbook that you can't dress as a female if you're a male or male if you're a female? Is that in our, I don't remember.
Well, I think that would still fall under all sexual harassments are prohibited, but. The other item that I had a question on for council, just since this is a pause break here, was the orientation period. Currently, we show an orientation period of employees of 3 months, and then they can be extended for 3 months by their supervisor if the supervisor feels it's warranted. I will say as a ex-public employee, that's the shortest duration I've ever heard of. And didn't know if anybody had any concerns about that time frame and whether or not they wanted to extend it to 6 and 6, or if they had no concerns at all. Jim, as a supervisor, do you have any thoughts on?
I do have a question. If we extend that time of probation period, does that affect benefits?
No, you get benefits, medical after 60 days.
After
It
60
would
days.
affect, the only thing that would affect would be the 48 hours of vacation that you get after your probationary period is over. Now you could put that in there that you get that 48 hours after a 90-day period. And then, but your probation is for 6 months. But that would be the only thing that would be affected.
I think it seems reasonable that a 6-month probationary period is. I don't know of many that are shorter than that.
I'm good with extending.
Section, I'm sorry.
204.
Is that all employees or directors only?
It's all employees.
All employees.
Y'all be comfortable with keeping the 48 hours of PTO at 90 days?
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to change that benefit. Are we going on 611?
I'm with the, I lost my place here. I'm with the two genders. Lost my place all the way.
139.
Any action?
Well, I'd make a motion to accept the, I want to make sure I'm reading this right. Operations and Procedure Manual and is it Policies and Procedures?
The personnel policy.
Personnel Policy as discussed with the amendment to section 2.04 to reflect 6 and 6. And then as far as 6.11, there's sexual harassment. All types of sexual harassment are prohibited, period.
And then pick up the sentence, sexual harassment is defined as unwelcome sexual
Correct.
advances,
Correct.
requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of a sexual nature when, ...
So essentially excluding these named instances.
The including portion, yes.
Well,
Removing-
excluding pregnancy,
excluding
sexual
what
orientation,
is typed in here
transgender,
that says
gender
including harassment based on.
What page is that? It's
137.
I have 138.
139.
Are
130,
you looking at 6.1?
6.11.
6.11?
138, it picks it up again when it says harassment of any nature when based on race, religion, color, sex, sexual orientation, transgender status, pregnancy, national origin, age or disability, lactation of an infant, genetics, veteran status, citizenship, or any other characteristic protected by law is prohibited and will not be tolerated. I was just going to add that if we were going to do that, let's strike sexual orientation and transgender status. Leave the other named harassment of any nature when based on race, religion, color, sex, pregnancy, national origin, age or disability, lactation of an infant, genetics, veteran status, citizenship, or any other characteristic protected by law is prohibited and will not be tolerated. Applies to all city employees, citizens, vendors, and other visitors to the workplace.
I will amend my motion to include those.
And strike sexual orientation and transgender status.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Oh, this one's hard.
It is hard.
Because you want to protect everybody.
Well,
I mean, I know where I land morally Morley's.
Exactly. Freeland morally,
Well, we have a
what's the right
motion.
thing to do, might be two different things.
All in favor? 3, all against,
I'm gonna abstain.
1 abstentions. 1 passes. Did you get them all recorded? We'll move to budget workshop. Discussion regarding the year 2025-26 budget. I have to give you a time for that.
Any questions on that? We added the line item for fire department.
George got questions, I know.
No, not really, not too much. I mean, there weren't any significant changes from,
Well, in the police part, that was significant, right, by adding an additional person.
Yes, that's from our previous discussion, yes.
And then we never did discuss the bridge. I don't think we discussed the bridge in a public. Going across the,
This wasn't included in y'all's packet. This is something that PHT prepares. Couple of years ago, actually. And so shortly after Troy departed, we met with an engineering firm. I don't know if y'all remember the fellow that was in the audience that started talking about the engineering firm that he worked for. So we met with him. The mayor and I met with him, and 2 of his guys that worked with him, and it was eye-opening. They predicted it would cost about $10 million, and so it scared us off. And I reached back out to Chris Hay, who had provided this opinion a couple of years back, and I wanted to find out if inflation or any of that had affected his opinion. And so he was quick to reach back out to the bridge manufacturer that he had worked with in the past. And they had a team's meeting and discussed it in more detail. And he says this opinion is still, he's fairly confident this is still an accurate cost. And so he told me about a bridge that they had worked on in Granbury, and I went and looked at it. He says it's in proportion to what we would need here. He said about the same length, width, same bridge manufacturing company. So I went and looked at it, but that's just an example of what's out there. So there's that.
Cool. Is that in here in the capital budget? Where's the
Not
capital?
currently in the budget.
Where is the capital projects budget?
80s.
The very last page, I believe.
Of course.
So that one, I guess, before Troy left, we had just kind of slid that same number over into the proposed budget. Well, after relooking at that number was comprised of a bunch of projects that we've already completed.
Oh.
And so it didn't really make sense to leave that full amount in there. So I worked on that, and that's why the numbers look a little different on the last version.
Oh, I see.
So in the general fund capital, we had money budgeted for the lane building and for city council grant program, which was 100,000. That's where that number comes from. In the utility fund, we had the remainder of the tank project cost. And then I had budgeted money for replacement of the lights on the water tower. And that's just kind of an estimate, and I'm told that's gonna be covered possibly by insurance. So,
Well, on that, the lights were already needing to be replaced anyway, and they were supposed to be coming out to replace them because of some faultiness. That was before the lightning strike, so I guess my question is.
they actually replaced all of them. Just a
Just
short,
before the light.
I
Just
think they
a
just
week
got
or
them
two.
turned wrong. That's why it looked the way it was
Yeah.
looking.
they were angled down, so it just looked like spots.
I just don't know different colors, but if you say they got to replace right before, I believe you.
Those water tower lights being out saved me about 8 hours a week.
Let's work on the Facebook page.
They're
I was talking about the Facebook page.
Oh, that too.
So we don't have anything in there for the Bryan Street drainage study?
No, that study's been done for years.
Okay, well,
I think,
oh, I'm thinking about the one in Golden Heights,
Rio Grande.
Rio Grande, yeah.
Yeah.
no, we do not.
Probably ought to consider that.
Yeah. Yeah, I have,
And anything else we need to do to pull it off.
I noticed you got it in there to include Mesa Drive.
yes,
Just confirming though that it's gonna be completed after all the construction is done, right? Because
Well-
obviously I don't want us to spend money at re-asphalting and then concrete trucks come in there and just tear it up.
right. They're pretty well on their way.
I know that.
There's just a few, I think most of the lots are towards the entrance. The ones that aren't being built out are right at the front, but yeah,
I just don't want us to have a double expenditure replacing it
Yeah.
now and then turn around in a couple of years when they're finally done on that project, have to address it again. You know, I know it's pretty torn up.
So one other thing that I was able to gather in the last couple of weeks, we had talked about the meters, the water meters that were the batteries are starting to go dead on. And so we did an audit. We have about half of our meters have been replaced in the last couple of years. So we have 741 of the old style, which 200, over 220, I think, are already dead. And so the goal was to replace those immediately so we don't have to go out manually read those each month. But I went ahead and got a price to replace 741 of them. And that's with the cellular read, which means you don't have to drive by. They just are read from the computer. So Lupita could just click a button and have all the reads for those 741. And they're kind of pricey, but they're not really much more expensive than a drive-by meter. And so I told them just give me a price on the cellular. So for all 741, it's $188,000. And then I put in there to buy 200 new meter bases. So when you go out and replace this top, you want to make sure the bottom is still accurate. So sometimes they're not. In those cases, we would replace the meter base as well. Those are $90 each. So I'll put in there for 200 of those. So the total number is the total number I put in there was 212,000. That also allows for meters for new construction. And, anything coming up that doesn't already currently have a meter.
So are those cellular with a plan, or are they RFID?
Well, you pay per month for each meter. That's how we do the drive-bys. They're 6 cents a month per meter. And so the cellular, the cost goes up per month, but to $1 per meter. So, but you probably would save that money by not having
The
to
labor
go
to
out and do
drive.
rereads. And right now we have a program where we go out and we can hook the laptop to the meter, run a program, and tell you exactly how much water you've used down to the minute for a whole year. Well, Pizza could do that from her computer without sending the guys out there.
That'd be pretty efficient.
Yep.
And we have roughly 1,400 meters,
Roughly 1,500 meters.
1,500 meters.
Last month, I think we read 1,472 active meters, active accounts.
And that takes 3 work days.
Well, it should only take 4 hours, but we drive the whole system, turn those in, and then once she figures out, okay, which ones didn't
Which
read,
one's faulty?
she generates 250 work orders, and then we go out and manually read those. Well, because they're drive-by, they may be overgrown with grass, or so there's sometimes you have to work at uncovering them to read them. So takes a little longer than just running right to it.
I love that project. Quick question on over here for the back to the capital projects, because I don't want to move away yet from the bridge, but I see here, it's capital projects from the general fund. The current budget is 3.2 million. But it said our current budget remaining is 2.4. Is that what you were talking about? How you went through and you backed out additional expenses that had already been captured?
Yeah, because the lane building was going to be 2.4.
Uh-huh.
Now I know we've paid some rather large invoices out of this year's budget, so that I think what I budgeted we wouldn't spend all of that, because we've already done a lot of that.
So is that what we're thinking might be able to cover the cost of the bridge?
Well, I think what Troy was thinking, I hate to keep bringing his name up, but
it's
I
recent.
think what we had done was we saved a ton of money on the sidewalk projects, on both of those projects. And so he was thinking, man, with the money we saved, we could tackle a big portion of that project. And so he just slid that number over. I mean, I'm just trying to, get close to making it balanced.
Right.
You can't do that if you just deficit spend out of reserves or whatever. And so,
Mhm.
I mean, you can do that if you want,
Mhm.
but our goal as staff is to try to make this thing balance as best we can.
Okay.
And so I was just taking all that inflated stuff out of there. And then if y'all choose to fund a project out of reserves, I mean, that's up to y'all.
What's our reserve balance at?
I think it's,
I thought it was about 12, more than 12.
I think y'all have it
Yes.
in the financial report.
Thank you.
And you come up. So
Oh, yeah.
Jim and or Veronica, under the parks general fund, you've got wages in there, but no
Thank you for
numbers.
Okay.
See, no numbers in there at all for benefits, workman's comp, health, insurance, all that stuff. So that's basically the 1045s.
I can go through and add in what was one employee, right?
You got,
one, yeah.
shows 65,000 for
The benefit.
wages, but just nothing else for any
Right.
type of
I
benefits.
can go in and add the numbers for what one employee would.
I don't know if 65,000 was one employee or two employees.
It's just one, right?
One, yeah.
Any more questions on the budget?
I have a question. I have put in there in my budget either to get a used police car or to lease a new one over like a 3 or 4 or 5 year program. So I just wanted y'all's thoughts on that. Probably, if we went with the used one, end up saving about 35, 40,000.
Is that what you would prefer?
Not really, not with the used one.
Because the amount of miles that you'd actually drive, it'd be easier to lease.
And it's the mileage or the hours that they sit there and run. You might find one with not a lot of miles on it, but hour wise, you're gonna have a lot of time that they're sitting there running,
Yeah.
But still might get a good one. So don't matter.
You said you could lease one? Is that?
Yeah, there's an American leasing company that leases leasing program for law enforcement. The sheriff's department, they do it all the time. So that's how I got the information that they do that. They lease 4 or 5.
Which is the same thing like the fire department shows you that 3-year lease. It's the exact same company.
Oh.
That's where the fire department got the quotes from the police department. So it's the same.
5.9 some percent on the interest rate. If you lease it. So.
I'm not against leasing a vehicle depending upon the number of miles that's included in,
That'd be a
the
new one.
agreement.
If you're leasing one, that'd be a brand new one.
Yeah.
Well,
So I would want to see that.
Get it outfitted and prepared.
I got you.
That's the only thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have an objection either which way, but, obviously if you buy something that has low miles and with some other local departments, but, it's still worthy.
Yeah.
It's outfitted.
Right.
Versus if you lease one, you probably 6 months to a year at least to get it probably
Yeah.
outfitted and everything else and
Well,
be in service.
I still have to most of them are not outfitted. They're stripped down. They're the decals are taken off, the lights. You're just getting the vehicle for most of them. You're still putting in cameras, putting in your own equipment, cages, stuff like that. Most ones that I've found, they're stripped.
I'm just not a proponent of leases when we have the cash in reserves why pay 5.9% for a lease if you
The
have
only-
the cash to do it?
The only thing that I was thinking is that with the lease, you're essentially going to be getting a new top of the line vehicle every 3 years, as opposed to holding on to one for 10 years. And so, I mean, that's
Talking
kind of
about
what I
my
was
09 Crown Vic.
Do what? Yeah. Oh, wait, sorry. I said 10. I meant to say,
Almost
16. Almost 2 decades.
I'll keep driving it, I don't care.
That's
give
the
a age on
thing, is
The
just.
paint, but it's just whatever y'all want.
I'd rather purchase if we're gonna do something so that we're saving a little money, I guess, without having to pay that interest.
The interest rate.
Well, that's just me. As long as it's got good leg room in the back.
Comfortable seat. You want a cup holder?
If I ever get stuck back there, I don't want to be able to breathe.
Only the best versus.
Our elected officials.
No, wasn't no joke, really.
Will we have one more? Is this the last?
This is last.
This is the last one.
Oh, wow. So how much is it to purchase a new one? Or a slightly used one, you know?
And you can get one from 10 to 20,000 for use, for a decent one.
What was the cash pay for a brand new one?
Pay 53 for that one that's getting ready right now. It's about 30,000 for the equipment. And to install it, another 10 or 20.
What's the life on one of those?
On the new Chevy Tahoes.
Mhm.
I mean, driving it here in Glen Rose, I mean, I've got my 09, I've got 84,000 miles on it. Because 4 square miles, and I'm just one officer driving it, so.
4 square miles.
They seem to last a little bit longer and
I recommend we just buy one.
Yeah.
I don't know how Chief is with his rules. And I think they could extend it out. Maybe we wouldn't have to purchase another one until 2040 or so.
Oh, gosh. It's fun.
Just making an outright purchase and equip and
Mhm.
like we just did on the other one.
I think so too.
Okay, that's the only question I had.
That should probably be Chief was able to.
Chief one.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Anybody else on the budget?
Okay, so, I mean, we've gone over the budget line by line and everybody's done a great job explaining per department what each amount is for. And so, but then I always come back to these large swaths in our capital projects. Do we need to set that budget before we approve the budget? Do we need to outline projected projects? Like, I mean, or what we're thinking? Is that where we do that here?
Yes, if y'all want to.
Jim, did you say you already put that in the budget for those meters? Or you have not?
Well, I put 88,000 in there to replace the 200.
Oh,
And then I think Councilmember Bruning brought up, if we have more that are aging, why don't we look at a total replacement? And so that's what that number was. It hasn't been put in there yet. I just wanted to bring it to y'all. If you want to have that, we can.
I think
Well,
that's
the
a great
concern was
idea.
obviously that they keep going out on you, right?
Yeah.
Keep going out, needing better replacements and so on.
A 20-year lifespan, but they're going out a little earlier than that.
And then even though some are maybe under warranty, you need a replacement fee to be able to give it to them so you can take the other one off and ship it back for warranty.
Yeah,
Go do it right.
they're manufactured in Milwaukee. And so the sales rep is telling me, by the time you ship that thing up there and then they check it out and then rebate your money, said it's almost worth not fooling with, because you're shipping them all up there. You're not getting anything back by the time you pay for shipping. And so his recommendation is just throw them in the trash, basically.
So this is something we have to go through every 5 years.
No, they're a 20-year battery life. These meters are probably 15 to 17 years old. Some of them, the way I understood it, sometimes in transit, the battery, it activates itself when it's in transit. And so you may have a meter that's been in a warehouse for a while. You're getting it, you don't know that the battery's already been activated. And so that's the discrepancy on the 20 years.
You should put a piece of plastic in there that you pull out.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Just like
simple.
those
Yeah,
little cheap flashlights, just
simple.
there you
Yeah,
go.
simple.
Maybe it's a big piece of plastic.
Oh, well. I'm not upset with you about that, Mr. Jim. I'm just saying.
You should patent that.
I do think we need to, think about the Golden Heights project,
Yeah, I do
and
too.
if that's going to something that we want to study and try to move forward on. And that's a real problem. And
I
they
think-
have one way in and one way out.
I think that's something we need to get to working on.
I
We
concur.
could.
I thought you were referring to sewer water runoff. I didn't realize you were referring to.
Well, sewer water runoff as well, because the drainage comes right down that street, down that ditch behind the properties in a easement. Yeah, I mean, it's all kind of part and parcel together.
I can work with Chris Hay on that and try to come up with, it's not likely, you could say we're gonna fund this project. It's not likely that it would happen within the next year. But we could figure out a game plan and go, okay, we could start design and surveying and that kind of stuff, and this is what it would cost, and just budget that much money to kind of get going on it. And if there's property acquisition, we need to know that too.
Yeah, there might be, who knows, GLO might scrape up some more money and be able to open up a notice of funding for a grant. I mean, who knows, cost share, there's opportunities maybe. But without a plan, we can't get even started.
Right.
So for this upcoming year, it'd be water meters, the Golden Heights project, and then I saw in here the Bryan Street drainage study. Did
No,
you say we
that's,
got that done already?
I think that line item needs to be deleted, because it's like that was done years ago and
Yeah.
we don't ever put any money in there, but that line item has stayed. So this year, what we have, I don't know why we started putting all that money in one capital fund and funding multiple projects out of one line item. So I built them back into each separate budget. So sewer, we have a lift station that I would like to add a SCADA system to.
Okay.
That's kind of a capital project. Streets, we had a Mesa Drive.
The But you put those back into the individual budget.
Yeah, so you'll see a capital improvements
Okay.
line item in each category, and that's where you'll see those bigger projects.
Okay, water meters, lift station, Mesa Drive. The dog park, I loved her idea. Miss Dallas McKee in the dog park. Is there any interest in exploring that at one of the parks?
I like the idea. I would prefer it probably to be in one of the existing parks, you know.
Yeah.
Heck, even if we can run and use that park, you know.
Oh, the one right here.
Yeah. I mean, that you can bring people down to the square at the same time.
And it's got a lot of good shade too.
Another area that comes to mind is when we talked about buying property from the Gosdens to punch that road through at Golden Heights. It left quite a bit of space over behind the bank there. And we had talked about some sort of little park there.
That'd be a nice little pocket park.
I think so too.
Hey, something that came to me from citizens was a request in Heritage Park to have something small, like a dog park for those people who live around that area and like to walk the trail with their dog. And if they come into an enclosed space and take them off the leash and have some time. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to it. I'd just like to, get an idea of what it might cost.
Mm-hmm.
There's some places in Heritage Park that there's already fencing up on two sides.
Right.
Like when you're the cabin, when you first come in, there's a fence going this way and a fence going all by those cabins. There's a fence. Now, some of them might have to be worked on a little bit, but there's fencing all the way around that area. And it wouldn't impede being able to go and look at the cabins either. So now they're not quite as shady on that side. The shade's more on the left side, but the oak wilt is still coming at that park. So
It's gonna take care of everything.
yeah, it kind of makes me sad.
We treated about, I don't remember the exact number, but probably 35 of those trees.
Oh, at the Heritage
Yeah,
Park.
all the ones near the side that was most infected.
That was about 6 months ago, right?
Yeah.
And you can see they've kind of grown out, but I mean, they're not going to make it. It's just a Band-Aid on a problem.
The worst one is the one going up the steps at the dam. That one is really bad.
Yeah.
Did that one get treated? Probably not. It was probably too
No,
far
there was a
gone.
different problem with that one. It had a deck built around it and with no room for the tree to grow.
Oh.
And by the time we noticed it, it had already pushed the bark away from
I see.
the tree and damaged it. We tore all the decking out, but I don't know if it'll survive.
So what, the other one I have listed here, of course, is the pedestrian bridge. What's required for the next step on the pedestrian bridge and moving that project forward?
It would just be, I think, selecting an engineer, professional services, and entering into a contract on it.
Okay.
I wait till we go to TML, where we walk around the convention center with all those different vendors. I'm sure you'll find probably a good half a dozen that are there that do that project and can get some ideas.
Mundo, who's doing our other survey, they like to kind of specialize in this area. Maybe they might have some insight and
Oh, yeah.
things they could do for us.
So do you just reach out to them, like to Mundo and all? About,
Yeah, that's what y'all wanna. That's the direction y'all wanna go.
What would they do for us? Just
One, they could help try to kind of manage it, but more importantly, they could maybe help us if there were a grant available or a cost match for something like that. Again, where you've got a park that, you know, we're in on a grant for the Texas Parks and Wildlife. In that cycle, maybe we can get ready for the next cycle next year at this park with the same type of grant, you know, a cost match. We're not concerned about it ever changing a use from a park, dedicated park. Then why not try to seek a grant in the next funding cycle? Or what's his name?
Jay?
There you go.
So who would do the survey to see the feasibility of?
Well, if EHT likes these numbers and they kind of stand by it and they're kind of in the ballpark, and we think that's a good base to work from, then
We can move forward
then
with
you move
that.
forward with that.
And this estimate said 200 feet, and I thought it was 220, so am I wrong, or I guess the only reason I'm asking is because that's gonna change the figure you're thinking of.
Yeah, I'm not real sure what if there's a criteria for a pedestrian bridge versus traffic rated bridge, if it has to be further out of the thing, I'm not sure, but
I just thought, I don't know, I thought that quote you read out earlier that we made everybody's jaw drop, I thought that person said 220 feet, that's what came to my mind.
yeah, they said, that the bridge would need to be a minimum of 150 feet in length to keep from building, anything within the flood,
Appear in the floodway.
And so that was the key thing they were looking at. But I'm not sure where they came up with
And
the length.
I'm personally, I would like to see something that matches an older style. I'm not in, I mean, the bridge at, not Marble Falls, but, Lampasas, is it? Or wherever it is. I mean, that's a nice bridge, but it's a contemporary bridge. I just like something that looks classy.
Well, I found a bridge near Hyco, but it's not very long. And that one's up for adoption.
It's even better, better price. Add some wings on it, kind of flare it.
Yeah, you'd have to, I think it was 69 feet long.
Find two of them.
So
Find three of them.
essentially be building two more bridges.
These are just ideas.
Have a bridge up for adoption. I mean, like, we don't want it anymore, so come get it. Is that kind of how that works?
It's a TxDOT bridge that's being replaced. And so because it's old and historic, they like to try to find entities that can use it, repurpose it for pedestrian use.
And our old historic bridge that was talked about is not usable, right? I don't know, but I just know that there was some talk about one of the old bridges here, the one that everybody gets their pictures taken for graduation. What's that
Okay.
bridge?
That's in Johnson County.
Oh, it's not here.
That's at Brazos Point.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Well, then, but there's the one at the reservoir, the old bridge at the
There's that
reservoir.
one that used to be near Tres Rios.
Mhm.
And then
There's one across Squaw Creek that could be available maybe. Right there from Dodson's to, or from Miller's to whatchamacallit, right?
I thought that they were looked at, but it was determined that it's cheaper to purchase one than to try and rehab those.
Yeah, I think so, but the ones that are being rehabbed usually are the ones that qualify for grants because they're historic, and so.
Okay. Okay.
But they're also usually too short, so.
Yeah. Okay. Well, very good.
Anything else with the budget? George?
No.
Lauren? Candace?
Okay.
Thanks for all the work you did,
Yeah, thank you.
everybody.
We'll move to consent agenda. All consent agenda items are considered routine by city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion on these items unless council members request an item be removed and considered separately.
I make a motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Second by Bruning. All in favor? 5-0 passes. Staff reports. Public Works Director report.
So, I just kind of combined everything I had on one report. So I wanted to just give you a quick update on a couple of the projects. The street project, the CDBG grant project up in 3rd Street, Webster and Clay. So they mobilized finally this week. So they started yesterday on 3rd Street. So that street project is underway. And then the sidewalk project down here is nearing substantial completion. They're cleaning up, but I've gotten some pushback from some of the homeowners, property owners that didn't get a concrete drive approach. Some of them did not have concrete, and so the plan just showed a sidewalk crossing their driveway, and they're now upset by the way it looks. They think that all of them should have concrete driveway approaches, and so because they worked with us and gave us easements, I'm just trying to see what that might cost. So I've got the engineer looking for measurements and to give us a change order and just to explore what that might cost.
How many of them are there?
There are 4 properties that
Okay.
that have kind of dirt or gravel kind of from the edge of the pavement to the new sidewalk.
Okay.
The other issue with that is it will constantly be dirty. Every time it rains, that stuff's gonna wash over the top of the sidewalk. So it won't look nice, and it won't always be pleasant to walk through the mud. So I'm just exploring what that's gonna cost. So this week I've been busy with interviews. Veronica and I conducted, I think, 4 interviews for potential building officials. And we've got some good candidates. We're just not real sure how to move forward yet. Then I've done, Santos and I have done like 4 interviews for Public Works as well. So I'm trying to fill all of those positions. I met with Veritas to kind of discuss what services they provide to help us through the period of time that we don't have a building official, so they can assist with plan review, inspections, building official duties, as needed basis. I met with the Water District. I got a notification from Prairie Lands, the Groundwater Conservation District, notifying that if we're on pace to use our allotted amount of water for the year. And so I wanted to meet with Kevin to find out where they're at in construction or correcting their water quality issues that they have. And so I think we're in a good position to start taking water like later in the fall to not exceed our permitted amount of water. I think there's fines involved with that. So I don't want to get fined. And then I think that's about everything that I want to add.
Going back to the sidewalks. So I kind of got two mixed vibes on something, so I just wanted some clarification. We referenced the crosswalks going across Bernard at Gaither and Shepherd. So at one point it was TxDOT's done, and then it was, well, no, they're redesigning or rethinking how they're going to do it or something like that. So what's correct, and then what is our repercussions to resolve the problems? Because obviously, I think it's near and dear to council's heart to make sure that there are some good crosswalks across the street so that the kids are seen, visible, and we don't have any injuries that occur.
All right. So I think there's two different issues. So one is on the Safe Routes to School sidewalk project, which is the one TxDOT was kind of overseeing along the highway and then through town. When they got to the intersection where we have the big gigantic power pole right inside the sidewalk, when they got all the way through their project, well, that's kind of where they ended. And when they got to that point, TxDOT instructed the contractor to just hold off. So they want to redesign that ramp. And so the contractor pulled out and they're gone, and we're waiting on TxDOT to redesign that, re-engineer that. It had, in the plans, it showed one of those curves that come out from the existing curve.
Okay.
And so I think that was their hang up. So the other issue is we met with TxDOT months ago, and they had said that they were looking to design crosswalk improvements downtown. And I think we mentioned the two on Northeast Bernard. Said, hey, when you redo these, we want y'all to look at these as well. And they agreed verbally, along with the possibility of a traffic light at Elm and Bernard. And so, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, they emailed and said they've looked at all that, done analysis, and they're not doing anything with any of it. And so since then, I reached back out to them and said, hey, you know, is there some way we could move forward with improvements to the crosswalks, with striping, you know, signage, lights, and, you know, if it's a funding issue, then my proposal is you design it and then maybe the city funds it. But just to kind of get the dialogue going. And so I haven't heard back yet, but that is something that I sent back out. So
Is that just to the local level?
no, I think there were several people copied on that.
Well, obviously, I think that's near and dear to our hearts, so
Yeah.
obviously, would love to see that project completed and done and wrapped up, to include those light illuminations and the crosswalks and so on.
I mean, I think we could get our own engineer involved
Yeah.
to design that if we were,
Yeah, if they'll let us.
I mean, Text dot will likely take forever to design it. I'm just
That's the
wanted
only
to
issue
see
if
if
they
they
let us,
put some skin in the game.
let us, we're sitting on it.
Yeah, I just hate having to wait for text dot to determine a safe zone for our kids.
We know, it's been, how long it's been taking for high
So,
school.
I mean, can we just do it? Like, you know how you do it and then ask for forgiveness? You know? Like, I don't, asking for permission is taking
I think we
years.
can definitely have an engineer design it and then just move forward with trying to get it permitted. So you would get a permit through TxDOT to do the work, but you're leaving them out of the design phase.
Mhm.
So you would use all their design standards, but do it independently.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Thank you for bringing that up, Rich.
Anything else for Public Works? Thank you, Jim. Police chief report.
I don't have anything to add. No, TxDOT did start putting lights on the school zone. So it's big in, got
Across the first base, I think,
They
that's
did
more across the street.
Yeah, they did the footing, the
Yeah,
pylons or.
so they started on it anyway.
It's
School
real
zone.
I saw the first one, I didn't,
Just to
get
get
right by the
this.
baseball fields or whatever on it.
The one I saw was about Taco Bell, that area drilling a hole for a light. To have a school zone up there. So, he said something.
Does that also mean they're moving forward with the reducing the speed as well? Or is it only,
During the, only school zone.
only the flash?
Yeah, the flashing.
Yeah, I don't think we will approach them to reduce from 45 to 40. I think all we were looking at so far was the school zone.
Yeah, the school zones.
Yeah, they'll request that the city adopt a new ordinance for that specified zone. And there will be speed related to that ordinance. But I mean, it's not just a sign with a beacon light on it. It's a full mast that comes out over the highway. I mean, the piers were 13 feet deep. And
Wow.
4 foot in diameter. I mean, they're big. So they're nowhere near done, but we'll be coming back to present an ordinance.
And that's gonna be based on our recommendation of the speed?
No, I think it's based on their study that they did.
The 2001 study or a recent
No,
study?
They
recent
did one
one.
2 years ago.
Okay. Which they haven't moved on.
Yeah.
Moved really slow.
They moved just at a snail's pace.
Anybody have anything else for chief? Thank you, chief. Building and planning department. Assuming we don't have nothing there. Code enforcement, nothing there. CVB report. Let's go.
Me tonight. Hello. So I'm talking today in lieu of Tex Toller. He is in Nashville at the moment, so it is my pleasure to be here. I think you guys have our list of projects that we've been working on. And I know you can read. I don't know if you have any questions on that, but I did forget to put something on there, and that is. And I can go over just a couple of highlights, like we just got back from the, do you
I don't
know?
have a list of projects.
It was in an email.
It was just a separate
Wow.
email.
Email from
Okay.
Monday.
Oh, okay,
I see,
yes,
that's
so,
my fault.
yes.
Let me pull it real quick.
so we just, well, here, how about this? I'll give you some highlights.
Okay.
Okay, so thing number one, we returned Friday from spending 3 days in Fort Worth at the TACVB, which was amazing. Great contacts, excellent information, lovely resources. I learned so much. It was amazing. So that was great. There is another one in the winter in Bernie, and I'm all in on that. I want to go to that one. So other things though, we've been working on creating a new website and really updating our event calendar that is on our current website, and that's been well received from the hospitality industry workers. We've been working in social media, we've been collaborating with a couple of independent contractors, if you will, with content creation. So they've been helping us since we're spread a little thin these days in CVB. One of my most favorite things that we're doing is we're moving to the old bank building. And yes, in fact, all of my things are moved. I am over there. So I'm excited about that. I've been talking with the Judge Chambers with Pearl. And so as soon as we get a few more things situated over there, then she's prepared to move over there. I mean, it may be, I'm not really sure that we're going to have this in 3 phases. So once we kind of get the welcome lobby situated and we get some more rack cards and get, so I still think it might be a couple of months. All right. So, something that's not on the report is the Discovery Channel has been here. They were at Bernard's Mill yesterday, and then today they had some stops. Tomorrow they'll be at the courthouse filming in the courtroom with Martin Brown, who wrote the Moonshine Raid. And then on Friday, drum roll please, they're going to do a Moonshine Raid reenactment.
Back at the mill on Thursday.
Back at the mill on Thursday. Okay, I was unaware of that, so that's cool. That's very cool. We have some hospitality workshops at the end of this month, and then at the end of this week on Saturday and Sunday, Chuck with Bull Lion Ranch and Vineyard let us use a booth for free at no cost to us. So Tex and I will be there and making great contacts, hopefully for future festivals, funneling people to Glen Rose, getting people excited about our destination. And then another thing that I'm personally excited about was number 8. I met someone with a company called Banwango, and it's not an app. It's more of a QR code that you allow tourists to scan. And then you can, my most excited part is you can gamify all the dinosaurs that we have. So we have the 88 dinosaurs in our town, so we can kind of make that more of a game or a passport situation. So that's kind of cool. But then it also has the capability to have different trails. Like we can have a food trail, we can have a nightlife trail. So it's going to make it easier for tourists to use that. And then we talked with Fossil Rim yesterday at a meeting, and they were willing to potentially share in some of the cost for that. I've got a meeting with the chamber, so we're kind of looking at sharing the expense as a community so that we can offer this tool to our tourists. So I thought that this is going to be a cool thing. And it's also just different promotional things. I mean, all of our downtown merchants can use that for a fall open weekend. So
I think at a national park when you have that Young Rangers program.
Oh yes,
that's
exactly.
fun.
Yes,
you could do like a whole theme on dinosaurs and
yes. So I mean, you can just however creative you want to be is your limitation. So it's exciting. All right,
Thank you.
Oh, quick question. I saw here on social media that you said y'all are doing Facebook and Instagram. Would y'all ever do TikTok?
Oh, I would absolutely. I would absolutely do TikTok. So we're formulating that, and I think so.
I'm just jesting.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Don't give her a challenge, 'cause she'll do it.
Don't do
it's a
that.
total jest. No, total jest.
Because I will. Challenge accepted.
No.
No, I just need a green light.
What are you doing for the cattle drive?
All right, so that's okay. So I didn't cover that. So we obviously are not having the Wine and Arts Festival, so we're trying to make a little chicken salad out of chicken mess. And so we already have a Longhorn. The ITLA is having a championship show, so we've been meeting with them about doing a cattle drive. Now we think we can do that on Wednesday. We're talking with Larry Smith. Oh, not only would that be so fun, but
Larry Smith Jr., right?
Larry Smith
I'm
Jr.
I'm not here.
You're not here?
No, I was gonna say, I'm not senior.
So the Longhorn's going through, and then I'm still working out the details. We're going to try to keep them in town until Saturday, and then maybe have some photo ops. And I've been told that there's a couple that you can get on top of it and
Oh, wow.
have a photo op that way. So we're working through those details. I am hoping that it all works out.
Some in the parade that were being ridden.
So yeah, and we're going to have the entire ITLA community here. I mean, that's over 300 people, and of course, that very same weekend, on Saturday, Asleep at the Wheel will be here. So that's kind of cool. It's going to be a really fun weekend, and so I think we're gonna have some fun Longhorn things to do. So
It's a home football game too.
it's a home football game.
Texas OU.
Oh, right. That's what one of the merchants told me. She wants to have the game in the Palace Theater. So the weekend before that, October 4th, is we're having the Oldsmobile Car Show. And all day that day, we're going to have the Palace Theater open and watching car shows just to kind of go along with that. Just a free event for the community. And so I thought, well, while we have all the chairs and the projector and everything set up, let's go ahead and keep that. So after the cattle drive on Wednesday, we're going to have a Western playing. I don't know how many people will go, but it will be, hopefully a fun event. And so then we
could screen real
maybe
Bravo.
have that UT game playing on the Saturday, right? So
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So these are all things to look forward to.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
City Secretary report.
We had some anniversaries this month. 1 year anniversary of Joe McFarland, the municipal court clerk, and Marissa Reyna, the animal control. So we celebrated them. Of course, our departure this month will be Allison, our building official. Her last day is Thursday. Yes.
This year is not.
Yes.
Oh.
And then we have a birthday this month, Colby Childs. His birthday is Friday, so Friday, right? But give him a shout if you see him out and about.
He won't be here.
Never mind, don't give him a shout. I forgot he's going somewhere. That's right. Apparently he needs a birthday week.
Did we pass that law or that ordinance that said every employee would get their birthdays off?
Yeah, we have a birthday floating holiday.
We
Yeah,
gave
floating
additional
holiday.
floating
Yes,
holidays.
Yeah,
yes.
that's right. Okay.
I don't know if he's using that or not.
He is.
Is he? Okay. And then really nothing else. We've just been doing a lot of training, and Lupita is going to training next week for some records management. Which I'm gonna cycle my whole crew through that. So very nice. I love records management.
Thank you. Jim, you want another report or you already got yours knocked out?
No, I kind of lumped it all together there.
All right. Council members, y'all have any reports?
Next week, week after next is the Texas 21 agenda meeting's going to be held in Stephenville, September 18, Thursday and Friday, the 19th. They look like they've got a great agenda. I don't know that I'm going to be able to go, but I will forward y'all the information about the registration. Quick, easy drive. You know, they normally, it says they start at 2:00 on Thursday with a tour of the campus at Tarleton. And then Friday will be meetings with a Firefly Aerospace. And if you don't know, Firefly Aerospace is the company that just landed about 3 months ago, landed on the far side of the moon with a private, the first private company to land on the moon. Lots of them have circled and flown around, but this one actually landed and didn't fall over. There was another one that landed and fell over, but this one actually has landed and conducting experiments. So that's going to be cool. Texas company, you know, space is huge and space exploration is huge in Texas, and they're going to have Firefly Aerospace there. So it's going to be pretty awesome. And just so you know, there's a great article in National Geographic about Firefly Aerospace, so it's very timely.
Have you heard about a public hearing they're going to do for the Bitcoin mine over in Granbury?
I have not heard about it yet. I know there was a contested hearing. Has there been a date?
Nothing I'm aware of.
They're also trying to incorporate, I think, into a city.
I want them to do that.
And
That'd be
reference Text 21, I'll be going to it, so if anybody wants to go and has those days off and wants to commute, let me know.
Anybody else?
Yeah, this Thursday is 9/11. And at the Republican meeting at Roosters at 5:30, it's basically, I forgot what they call it, lunch with ants or something like that. Lunch with no ants. With no ants, but
With no ants.
so they'll have hamburgers, hot dogs type of stuff for anybody and everybody, but we're going with that since it's 9/11. They'll also be taking the time to honor our police department, the sheriff department, and the fire department. So if anybody is able to go and wants to go, see you at Roosters at 5:30.
Anybody else? We're gonna pull 27 and 28. So. Yeah, never got nothing back. And Stan's not available. So if there's no more business for the city of Glen Rose, I'll adjourn this meeting at 8:37.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, guys, I did the best I could do.
End of that, yeah.
Great.
Something.
This is short cut. It shows the whole thing.
Yeah.
Finally got into it.